Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a video about this silencer here that I have attached to this Rec 01 Tactical. This is the Griffin Optimus. For those of you who may be familiar with what you're looking at, obviously this is not the Optimus Micro. This is the regular full-size Optimus. I've been shooting it a ton in 9mm, hence why I have it connected to this right now. But as I'll show you very shortly, it does something that no other 9mm silencer I've reviewed so far will do. So let me go ahead and dump some 158 grain Fiocchi subsonic ammo downrange with this thing, and then I'll talk about what makes this one a little bit different than the other ones I've shot so far. Alright, doesn't get much better than that. So let me go ahead and let this thing cool off, and then I'll show you something neat about this silencer, which for those of you already familiar with it, you probably know what it is, but nonetheless, I want to show it off anyway. So to show what makes this thing a little bit different, I went ahead and loosened it off screen, so I'm not taking a bunch of time struggling with it here. But if you look at the end cap, you may notice that there is this little inner part with that kind of like star shape on it, and then there's a little socket that turns into. I'm going to take that little star part out. What this is basically the pistol booster, so I could run it on a 9mm like that. And what I'm going to do, once I take that out, as you can see here, the end cap comes off, pull the little booster assembly out. I'm going to take this, which is essentially a fixed barrel spacer for 5/8 by 24 threads, if I don't drop it. Alright, gravity check good. Meant to do that. So let me go ahead and thread this thing on, and now I'm going to throw this on a 300 blackout. So now we have it attached to my 300 blackout upper. So let's go ahead and have some fun with this. Now you may be thinking, okay, no big deal. I know other 9mm silencers that'll shoot subsonic 300 blackout, but you may notice a change in volume here momentarily. And again, that's kind of what makes this one different. So this thing is not only rated for 300 blackout subsonic, it's actually rated for 300 blackout supersonic. But it doesn't end there. This thing will handle 5.56, and it'll go all the way up to 300 Win Mag. So this is one of those universal silencers. So I'm going to let this thing cool off a little bit more so I can take it off, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this silencer. So I've actually come out here to do this video once already. I was out here last Friday, and it was a day that the range is open to the public, and I had someone who was apparently on the very next lane over, right across that berm, who just was relentless. And you know, God bless them, that's what they come to the range for, but it made it really, really hard to film a video where you could actually hear what I was saying. I'll probably throw some of that footage in at the end, just because it'll probably be entertaining for you guys to watch me struggle through fighting with someone who's shooting behind me. But I just didn't feel good with that video, so I decided I'm going to come out here and reshoot it. So what I'm going to do is roll in some footage from that outing of me shooting it on my 10.3-inch 5.56 barrel, which, don't tell Griffin Armament, the barrels or the silencer's only rated for 10.5-inch barrels. That was only a 10.3-inch barrel. If you don't tell him, I won't tell him. So, but it worked. It worked just fine. I will say it was just kind of borderline hearing safe, but that's because it's a 10.3-inch barrel. The shorter the barrel, the more unburned powder there is escaping at the end of the barrel. Makes it louder, makes it more flash. If you were to go to like a 14.5 barrel or longer, you're going to be hearing safe, but that's kind of on the borderline. I would probably personally wear hearing protection if I'm going to do a lot of shooting on that. Anyway, So again, I've tested it with 9mm, 300 blackout, subs and supers, 5.56, but this thing will go all the way up to 300 Win Mag. Now the thing is, this as configured will work on 300 blackout and 5.56. If you want to go up to some of those bigger calibers, 308, 300 Win Mag, they actually include an extra baffle and this little extension here. So what you would do is unthread the caps here, drop this extra baffle in, and then tighten on this extension behind it. So it's going to make it obviously a little bit longer, but it's going to make it so you can now use it on those larger calibers, which is really, really cool. Now, I'm not going to take the time to demonstrate all the different configurations this thing can come in this video, because I have a feeling this video is already going to be long enough as it is, considering I tend to be pretty long-winded about things. But what I'm going to go ahead and do is link you guys to a video done by Curtis over at the VSO Gun Channel, where he did a dedicated video just showing all the different ways you can set this thing up, between the barrel booster for pistols, the fixed barrel spacers, the taper mounts that attach to this thing, tri-lug adapters, all that he goes over it in detail. So I'm going to let you watch his video. But again, all this stuff comes with it as far as this extension and the extra baffle to make it work on rifles. What's included with it is subject to change. I don't know if they're ever going to change how they configure it from the factory. But I believe you get one taper mount with it, and the pistol booster comes with it. I'm not sure what else, so don't quote me on anything else. But you get all of that. And when you consider it, if you're looking at a universal can over a dedicated caliber can, you can probably expect to spend a little bit more money, and that is kind of the case here. I believe the MSRP on these is $1,099. However, again, this is subject to change. Currently, this is on sale from Silencer Shop, who is the people who provided this to me. Really, really appreciate them being willing to do that. But this is currently on sale for $899. Now, depending on when you watch this video, that may or may not still be the case. So that's why it pays to be a subscriber, so you can see these videos as they come out and take advantage of those deals when they happen. But again, $899 for a universal silencer that'll go from 17 HMR all the way up to 300 Win Mag. In fact, what I'm going to do is take this bottom of the screen right here and just list all the different calibers that Griffin rates this thing for. Man, if you're looking for one can to do them all, this is going to be a pretty good option for you. Speaking of which, that is one thing. The end cap here, they send with two. So you have the 9mm one, which will work with the 30 caliber bullets, and then they also send a 22 caliber one. So 223 and below will work with that. So if you're worried about extra gas escaping, if you're going from like a 30 cal can shooting it on a 5.56, being able to swap out those end caps is something you're going to be able to do with this thing, and it's a really easy thing. Basically, you can even use the pistol booster, put it in here, it mates up and takes it off. Again, watch Curtis's video over at VSO Gun Channel. You'll see all that, and he goes a lot more in depth into that, and definitely recommend it if you're interested in the silencer. One thing I don't think I've done yet, so I'm going to do now, is take this side of the screen and run over some of the high points of the statistics about this thing. But again, the hard thing is, because this thing is so universal and can be configured in so many different ways, it's going to be hard to give you a dedicated length or weight or anything like that. So I'm just going to give some of the general specs about this thing, and then what I'm going to have you do is go to the product page for this thing on Silencer Shop's website, and they're going to have all the different weights and lengths and all that you would ever possibly want to know. But yeah, so you can take it upon yourselves if you're interested in this can. So check out those numbers and make sure that it falls in line with what you're looking for out of your silencer. Now at this point, I've been yapping on a little bit too long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut back to some more shooting footage, and then I'll give you some more of my thoughts on this Griffin Optimus silencer.
That ARX, man.
Yeah,
I really do like it. It's comfortable. So shooting it suppressed is legit.
So one of the things I should mention is, like I said a little bit ago, the way it's configured right now will work on 300 blackout subs and supers and 5.56. I did not try it with the extra baffle and the extension on 300 blackout or 5.56. I would assume, and I think it's a safe assumption to say, that if you were to shoot it with that extension, especially on that 10.3 inch barrel, it's probably going to help a little bit with that noise even more to make it even quieter. However, I was not able to test that, and my fault, but let me go ahead and explain why. So when I got this can, I shot probably 600 rounds of subsonic Fiocchi ammo through it, primarily through that AREX, and then also through a couple Glock 19s, the Glock 17, and a SIG 226. After doing that, I let the can sit for over a week because I had to go down to SHOT Show in between the testing of this, and it really started to gum up with carbon, because I know when I got it, I was just messing around with it. I was able to drop the baffle in no problem, screw the extension on no problem, but I let that carbon sit in there. Again, 100% my fault, because this is totally end user serviceable. You can take off the end cap, take out the baffles, you can maintenance the whole thing yourself. I did not do that. So when I came back and I came to put the baffle in, there was so much carbon buildup in there that I wasn't able to drop it down in, so I couldn't put the extension on, so I wasn't able to test the 5.56 and 300 blackout like that. Now again, if I wanted to take the time to, I could definitely clean that out and do that, but alas, this is where we are right now, having me not done that. So just something to keep in mind for you guys. If you do want to use a can like this that is end user serviceable, you probably want to service it as the end user so that you can prevent something like that from happening to you as well. Now, Silencer Shop, I believe, does even have a blog post on good ways to clean out your silencer, which I will probably be following once I get home. But again, the way we're shooting it now is the way that I've been primarily shooting it, actually pretty much exclusively between the pistol booster and these fixed barrel spacers for 1/2 by 28 and 5/8 by 24, or whatever the 308 thread pattern is. And again, it's been working 100% for that, again, across all the Glocks, the SIG, the AREX, or RX, depending on how you say it. I've heard them say it at SHOT Shows RX, so maybe I've been mispronouncing it. All that to say, it's been working great for me and has been more than quiet enough for my uses of it. Especially shooting subsonic ammo, which again, that's really where silencers shine, because even with that supersonic ammo, you'll cut down some of that noise from the gas expansion and all that, but you're still having the supersonic crack of that bullet breaking the sound barrier. So shooting that subsonic ammo really helps quiet things down a lot more, as you heard between the 300 blackout going from the subs to the supers. Now, one thing I want to mention is I was out here when I was out here the other day. One of the range board members came out, and I was talking to him a little bit, and let him shoot the silencer a little bit on the RX, and he really liked it. But he was asking me, my opinion on silencers, because he's thinking about maybe getting one, but doesn't know a whole lot about them. And he was saying that he's probably mostly going to be shooting it on a 22 long rifle, and might also shoot it on a 9mm, but that's pretty much the two that he's mainly going to be shooting on, with a heavy emphasis being on the 22. If you were to ask me, which, considering you clicked on my video, I'm assuming you are asking what my opinion is, if you're mostly going to be shooting on a 22, I would personally recommend getting a dedicated 22 long rifle silencer. They're going to be significantly lighter, and in a lot of cases significantly cheaper. So it's going to be a lot easier to get into that, and because of the reduced weight, you're dealing with less weight out at the end of your gun, and also you're dealing, theoretically at least, with less point of impact shift from suppressed to unsuppressed. Now, that said, if you do have the potential of shooting it across a bunch of different calibers, from 22, 17 HMR, 5.7, 223, 308, then absolutely this is a good silencer for you. Again, you might want to maintenance it, especially if you're doing heavy bulks of shooting all in one day. Maybe go ahead and take off this end cap, run a brush through it, and you'll probably be fine. Don't do what I did. But again, if you're mostly going to be shooting on a 22 long rifle, you may be better suited just getting a dedicated one for that. Because again, while this one is not excessively heavy, especially for being a universal can that it's rated up to 300 Win Mag, it is going to be a lot heavier than, say, that Q El Camino silencer I reviewed, or the Erector especially, or even just the Optimus Micro from Griffin, which hopefully I'll be getting my hands on soon. That would probably be a better option if you're going to mostly be shooting some of those smaller calibers. I think it's just something you're going to be happier with when all is said and done. But again, if you are going across multiple calibers, this is an excellent, excellent way to look. Especially with that sale right now, $8.99. You're essentially getting a free tax stamp once you add the $200 for the tax stamp back into it. It pretty much brings it right back to what its original price was. So again, you're basically getting a free tax stamp, which is awesome. Now, one cool thing I was able to do while I was at SHOT Show is talk to Jeremy from Silencer Shop, because you guys, if you've seen any of my other silencer videos, you know that my general recommendation is if you want to buy a silencer, Silencer Shop has the easiest process for doing that. And I've always kind of said that. So what I wanted to do was do a video with Jeremy where he basically explains what that process is. So he lays it out in a very simple and easy to understand way, and in my opinion, makes a very, very good argument for why you would want to use one of their Silencer Shop kiosks to get all your information entered into, which you only ever have to do once, and then you can just order however many NFA items you want, online, and have them shipped straight to your Class 3 dealer. Again, that video will be coming soon, if it's not already out by the time this video is out. And I'll have that linked below once it is out, so you guys can see just how easy that process is. Because again, they make it stupid simple. And one of the things that I like about Silencer Shop is they're working behind the scenes to make it easier for you guys to get NFA items anyway. They were a big part behind the barcode system that vastly improved the wait times on Form 4s, I think. And they're doing a bunch of other stuff right now behind the scenes that they couldn't talk to me about in regards to what they're doing currently to make some of the other forms a lot easier and a lot faster and make those wait times drop drastically. So again, not only do they make the buying process easier, they're making the ownership of it a lot easier as well, which is something I really, really appreciate. Really quick, by the way, if you like this shirt, I'm pretty sure this was only a limited run from Grunt Style. Don't think they sell it anymore. If they do, I'll have a link to it below, but if not, I'm sorry, you should have gotten one when they were advertising them. So to wrap up my thoughts about this silencer, I think this is a really good option. Again, as I've said it several times throughout this video, for those of you looking for one can to do them all, which I know is a lot of people, especially first-time silencer buyers. You don't want to be stuck with just one caliber that you can only shoot suppressed on and then have to file a whole nother tax stamp. So for a first-timer, this is probably going to be one you really want to look at. Again, just because it gives you the widest variety of options that I've ever tested. But again, you guys know what I think if you're just going to be shooting it on rimfire stuff. But for pretty much anyone else, this is going to be a really, really cool option. It's reasonably lightweight. It does a pretty good job of sound reduction for its size and weight. And again, just gives you so many different mounting options for whatever type of firearm you're mounting it to. So again, I think this is going to be a really great option. So again, follow the links below to that video that Curtis did over at VSO Gun Channel regarding all the different configuration options for it, as well as check out the link at Silencer Shop to find out more of the specifics on it. But I was thinking about how I wanted to end this video, and I thought, you know what? I need to do a lot more shooting with these 300 blackout Magpul mags. Might as well do a bunch of suppressed shooting with subsonic 300 blackouts. So that's how I'm going to go ahead and end this video. And then I'll probably roll in a bunch more footage that I didn't use earlier in the video of me shooting the silencer. So anyway, with all that said, I hope you got something out of this video, and I really, really appreciate you watching. It's just too much fun. Even with those 158 grain subs from TOP, however, when you're looking at rifle cans or 9mm cans or anything like that, it's right in line with, God, this mother behind me, I swear to God. It's right in line with what you can expect in comparison to some of those other options. But again, when it comes to universal cans, you know, this is just one of those great options, especially considering how modular it is for being able to put onto a bunch of different rifles to include tri-lug mounts. It's, I mean, right in line with those other rifle cans. All right. Oh, God damn it.